late. Better late than never. We used to be at 11 o'clock, so this used to be close to our normal time. But then I found I was getting nothing done with my day. We're not going to go very long today, but I just thought I'd check in and say, hey. Hey, Jackson. Oh, man, thanks, Jackson. I appreciate that. Hey, Jan. Trying to keep it basic. I always kind of throw out some more advanced kind of stuff. Why are you not moving? There we go. Sometimes unintentionally advanced stuff. See if we get an admin here. But we're going to start doing what I call syncopated grooves, where we have upstrokes without a downstroke between them. So you can see that down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I don't know why those upstrokes look funny. I don't know what it's they're not quite right, but that's all right. Let's see. Where is everybody? Come on, people. Come on. I only got 2 people on and 3 likes. That's a good trick. So I created a different drum groove. I could do an extra kick in there. Boom, boom. That might get a little busy on the kick side, but let me see what that looks like. Because if I did like a, nah, that's too much. I don't want to have too much of the groove in the drums. It gets a little annoying, a little obvious. Hey, Bruce is here. Yeah, everything's fine at the ranch. It was a sprinkler system issue. The front yard wasn't getting watered for some reason. So, and of course I started futzing with it and kind of made it worse. I got pretty confident because I replaced the sprinkler head in the backyard last week. And I thought, oh, I can do this. So the gardener shows up today, and I didn't want to have him come out on a special day or have to pay him extra. So it wasn't anything big deal. And in fact, I'm going to open my Diet Coke here because I'm out of coffee already. Oh, thanks, Michael. Hey, Izzy. Mamba. Let's see if we get Holly in here. Where's Holly? So if you look at, you can see there's 3 different iterations or 3 different graphic displays of straight eighth notes. The top one is just the straight eighth notes without any kind of right hand. Hey, acústico. Good to see you. And I'm playing an acústico. And so the next one shows that little symbol like that is a downstroke. So that would be like if you were to play and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if you want to get a more of a rock feel, you play eighth notes with all downstroke. Even on acoustic, that's totally fine. So if you want a kind of a rock feel, do all downstrokes on the eighth notes. If you want a more folky feel, then you would do down up. And whenever you're bringing that down, the upstroke into your playing, you're likely to do what's called swing. And it's funny because on a drum machine, you can adjust the swing. 50% would be no swing. So it'd be like straight A's, pop, 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 like a machine. And then you can go all the way up to 75%, and that would actually, I think 75% would be technically a dotted eighth to a 16th. So it would sound like this. Basically imagine 16th notes. So most people, when they set the swing thing, they usually set it between 60 and 67%, something like that. And you would create this, let's do, right? And so I'm only telling you about swing because what happens is when you're playing up, down, it's almost impossible not to have some human swing in there. It may be 51%, which is just slightly more than perfect eighth notes, maybe 60%. You could even, if you wanted to, you could go to like a drum machine or something. You could probably get a free download on your phone or whatever, set the swing for different percentages and play along with it and see. Make sure the hi-hat is hitting. Maybe the hi-hat could be on the swing. I could do that right now. Let's see what it, let's see. I don't know what percentage, but like, for example, if I were to, right now that's straight. That's as square as you can get. All right, so let me give it a little bit of a swing. Okay. So I have options. It says like eighth note swing A, which is just subtle. In fact, I don't even see it change anything. That's pretty darn subtle. Let's go to C is what I usually use if I'm going to swing something. You want kind of a 1950s. So again, we're just playing the E chord and just play that straight eighth notes, down, up, down, up. Can you hear that? The hi-hat, the snare is not swinging because it's on 2 and 4, but the kick is swinging. Okay, now I can make it radical. That was a swing C. Let me go to swing F. That's probably similar if I were to do a triplet. No, that goes right back. Okay, never mind. Oh, wait. It's totally jacked up the... Yeah, this is not going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to go to eighth note here. Boom. And then the swing. Yeah, the C is pretty common. I'm not sure what percentage that is. That's probably right around 60%. But I'm going to go back to normal. So we're just going to go back to normal. We're not going to swing this because we're going to start trying to do some. We have Holly yet? No Holly? What's wrong with her? Doesn't she like us anymore? Somebody's texting Holly right now. Tom's on. Tom's on. Okay. So the notation here, let me just show you some things. It should be pretty self-explanatory, but the little arch there is called a tie. And so what's happening is, so I'm talking about the bottom right down here, this one here, boom, this example. And so you can see where we have a down, up, and then up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You could even say that. You could also say 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. And I put the 2 in parentheses because I want you to be aware the 2 is there. You may even think it when you play. You may even think it in the gap. Hey, Sham, what's going on? Hey, Aslan. I got 1 sip of coffee left. That's it. So now I got my Diet Coke. Keep me going. Hey, Josh Flay, what's going on? Good to see you. It's good to see you. Yeah, Josh is a guitar player at church, but also are you playing other type of venues too? And your dad's a pastor? So the notation there, I might not, so you see the bar at the bottom that's joining the 4 eighth notes and then 4 eighth notes? I might not, if I were to write this by hand, I would probably get rid of the bar between the and of 1 and that 2, the tie, okay? I would keep it on the next 4. So for me, that's a little bit of a weird, sip it, got your tea, all right. You gotta have something to drink because we have a drinking game, you know that. Hey, Roman. Well, we get all sorts of different people because I'm on at a different time. That's so funny. Okay, well, if it's growing, I'm not going to stop. So tell all your friends. And so the note, we can even clap this. It's 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. You can say it. 1 and. Okay. You can even say the down up part. Down up, down up, down up, down up, up, down up, down up, down up. Okay. It's not an unusual groove. The main thing is I want you to start hearing what I call syncopated grooves, which is 2 upstrokes in a row without a downstroke in between, which means that we have to strum down and not hit strings. And that's where so many people get in trouble. And I always use the example of, like, if you watch an Elvis Presley movie and he's back there and say he's doing this groove, he wouldn't go. He would have probably gone. The problem with that is that as soon as you get to beat 2, beat 3, you're strumming beat 3 with an upstroke, and it's a downbeat. You need to be on the downbeats. So you need to think of your arm, like I say all the time, as a metronome. Click, 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 and it just keeps going. If I even just hit the downbeat of 1 and no other beats in the whole bar, if I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll see people still move their hand. Because you're keeping track. It's helping you keep track of where you are in the rhythm. Okay? So when I do this groove, I'm going down, up, and then I'm going down and not hitting the strings. So we can practice that. 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. 3. If you want to go to E sus to delineate between bars, back to E, 3, 4, 1, E, E sus, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so, hey, Dennis is here. So slowly this groove is down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now I could also play this with downstrokes only. And even with all downstrokes, I'm still probably going to kind of do a somewhat subdued downstroke on the on beat 2. And actually on that, if I were to play with 8th notes, I almost would probably write that with 2 8th notes. Instead of a tie, I would put an 8th rest in there. So it'd be like bomb, bomb, break, dun, 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 bam. And actually a really common pattern would be to do that and also skip beat 4, because what that does is that leaves a gap. Bass players do it all the time. This is a very common feel for bass players, but it leaves a gap for the snare drum. So like bass players would, let's see. So if I play along with the drum groove, you can hear it. And that would be a very common kind of an 8th note feel, especially if you're playing bass. But what happens when you do that, it's cool, but you're kind of leaving a gap for the snare drum. And it makes the snare, it's, you know, that 2 and 4 is so prevalent in modern music, and in particularly rock music, pop music, that what you're doing is allowing that element of the music, of the arrangement, to be heard more than it normally would be if you were covering it up. Remember, I don't know if you're new, you haven't heard me say this. Obviously, you haven't heard me say anything if you're new. But if you watch dang, who's the drummer for the Rolling Stones? I know everyone here knows that except me. Hey, Aaron Hampton, my nephew. Phew. Neff is in the house. He will play drums like this. He'll go down, down, dun, 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 bum, bum. Most drummers will do hi-hat on all 8 beats of, and so when they're hitting the snare, they're hitting the hi-hat at the same time. But not the drummer for the Stones, which is Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. It's going to show up right there. I know it. Somebody's yelling, screaming it at the screen right now. But he lifts his hand up like this. And he actually studied jazz. And so I don't know if that's a thing for jazzers, because jazzers wouldn't necessarily do a 2 and 4 kind of backbeat kind of thing. But it's interesting. And so, you know, when you listen to the Rolling Stone records, I think the snare kind of pops a little bit more because there's not that hi-hat hit at the same time. So that's kind of a groove like this makes a little space there on beat 2 for the drummer. So Charlie Watts, thank you, Leo. Okay, so let me put the drum groove in and let's play this groove. We can do G to C like that if we want, like G to C2. You could. So here's the groove, and this is the tempo here is 100. Something sounds. Okay, I think that's okay. One. I touched my face, so everybody take a sip. 3, 4. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Right? Okay, good. So let's move on. Let's do another one. I did 4 of these. We're gonna skip the one where we wouldn't play on beat 1. I'm not gonna do that one yet. We'll have to do that another time. Okay, so grab another here. All right. Okay. So this one, you can see we're going down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Now this is really closely related to the folk groove. The only difference between what I call the standard folk groove and this one is that we would play a quarter note. We wouldn't hit the upbeat on the end of 1. I always think you can see my mouse, but you can't. My cursor, or whatever that's called. So I can make this a little bit bigger. But let's clap this. It's going to be 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. Okay, or you can tap your leg 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and with your right hand and with your strumming hand. Now, the thing is, again, we want to keep the motion going. Again, if I was just playing the beat 1, I would still keep my arm moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So, still no Holly, huh? She's probably got a life, unlike us. Okay, so You're like, what are you saying, Tom? I'm saying we don't have a life. That's what I'm saying. Okay, hey. I'm an insult comic. I insult my audience. Okay, so this would sound like this. Basically, by itself would be, I can go back to E chord. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and the temptation is going to be to stop moving your hand when you miss the strings, right? The problem is the next bar, because you're hitting an uneven number of strums in the first bar, the next bar you're going to be playing upstroke on 1 and 2. And that's just not going to feel right. You're going to lose where you are in the song. And it happens every time when I would be with a new student and they were trying to get like the folk grooves down or any syncopated pattern at all. They might be able to get 2 or 3 in a row, but then they would turn themselves around. And again, it's kind of it is a total feel thing. You overthink it and you're going to mess up, but it's just kind of keep that arm moving. You can even doing this is not a bad thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, Alan. I had to meet with my gardener because my front lawn, the front sprinkler system wasn't working. So I was trying to run it and it just didn't run. I wanted to kind of go through it and see what sprinklers were working and everything, the sprinkler heads, and then it wouldn't come on. And I noticed the grass was really dry, and I'm like, okay, that's not right. So we made some adjustments to it and everything. It should be good. So, but I had to meet with him. He always comes during the Wednesday live stream, so I just couldn't. I didn't want to stop in the middle of the live stream, so I just waited for him, and then once he left, I started. So I apologize. That's why I started so late. If you're just joining us now, I'm pretty much only been on for about 40 minutes now. Okay. I find that I can find any groove that works when playing with others as long as I don't think about it. Yeah, that's probably true, Gary. There's something about, it's one of those right brain, left brain things. And the right brain is the more creative, I think, and the left brain is the more kind of... Funny, my brain doesn't work when I'm talking about brains. But it's a little more analytical. So we get too analytical, and then it messes with the creative side of your brain. And the groove and the feel and that kind of stuff all comes from the kind of creative side of the brain. I don't mind when composers send me music, right? I don't mind when they send me, like, these are literal notes that the composer wanted me to play. I don't mind when the composer, and this was yesterday's session, on the floor now, when he sends me a chart and just says jam over it, okay? I don't mind that. What is difficult for me is when a composer sends me music and then says, play something like that. You don't need to play these notes, but play something like that. It's like, that's impossible for me, because it's like, well, if they want those notes, I'll play those notes. But if you want something like that, you're asking me to kind of read and work with my left brain and get the fingerings and everything lined up and then do variations on that. And I might be able to do that in chunks, but to read through a chart that way, maybe if I did it for an entire day, a whole session like that, then maybe I would be able to, most of my sessions will last 1 to 3 hours. So they're not all day sessions, but, and that's, for me, is very difficult. So yeah, you kind of almost want to try to get that left brain out of the process. And so if you want, I'm giving you a lot of left brain information here. Okay. But I'm trying to get it to, like, one, two. I'm trying to get it into the physical realm so it can be a little bit more right brain and more feel oriented. Okay. So I'm totally fine if you don't even look at this, if you just imitate what you hear on the guitar. I'm going to put the drums in, and we're going to play this same drum beat we did before. sus. 1 and 2 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 Play this so you can play along. Okay, good. Now we could go. Let's see what it feels like at like 150. Okay, and we get in a little faster, and it's gonna feel different, but it's the same groove. A nice feel even at that tempo. We're going to go back to 100 though for practice purposes. Okay, I'm going to repeat. Sorry. I'm also adding water to the pool. So if I don't set a timer, I forget. I go out there and there's water everywhere. I'm like, dang, nabbit. All that money literally down the drain. I don't know how many of you have done that, but okay. I know Aaron, if Aaron is still watching, I know Aaron has probably done that in his apartment, right? He lives in Manhattan. It's pretty ding-dang cool, Aaron. All right. Astoria, I think. You live in Astoria still? Which is just outside. Are you looking? I don't know if Aaron's still there. Okay, so I'm going to make this one small, and I'll give you a third one here. So basically, you could probably predict what we're going to do next. Okay, oh, and another thing, I don't know if you noticed this, you may have. I kind of accented that upstroke right before the where we did 2 in a row. Oh, he's still in Queens. So you had a view of Manhattan. Do you still have a view of Manhattan? Can you see Roosevelt Island, which is the island in the Hudson between, I think, Queens and Manhattan? I don't know if you can see Roosevelt Island. But I actually know someone who lives on Roosevelt Island, which is pretty cool. It's this little, and I don't know, I think there's a train stop there, or a subway stop there, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and I didn't know if I was going to log in today, Jack. I was thinking, I didn't know how long it would go and how late the gardener would be. Yeah, it's cool. Nice, Aaron. It's pretty awesome that you live there. All right, so now I'm going to drag in another groove here. All right. I think Aaron just has me in the background while he works because it just reminds him of home. I'm only doing these so that when I'm dead, my grandkids can see what I was like. That's the only reason I'm doing these. Okay, so same thing here. We have. So originally, what we did was we skipped beat 2, then we skipped beat 3. Now we're going to skip beat 4. And that's where the parentheses are. Oh, no, that's parentheses. That's not a simple offense. If I'd used quote parentheses, then that would be a simple. Everybody have a sip. Now, New York, Aaron, it's almost 2 o'clock, so you could start breaking out the liquor, I suppose. I'm not encouraging it. Sorry. Okay, so actually, I have one of my best friend's son is moving to Manhattan um, in soon, really soon. I think that they said that Soho's got, like, you can get a Soho apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment for like $2,800 a month, which I know to a lot of you are like, that's more than my mortgage. It's twice my mortgage. But in New York City, that's actually a really good deal. You got to hear the unk play. All right. So this one again, we've moved over now. We got the tie. That's that little thing, and what that does is that adds those two notes together. So technically, when you tie two eighth notes together, it's the same as a quarter note. I could write a quarter note in there. You could have, you know what I should do at some point is I could do these, just to pick one of these and do it written all the different ways you might see it written, and then do screenshots of those, because it can be a little confusing if somebody throws music in front of you and they have a different way of writing things. So this one is down 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm just gonna keep doing that to irritate Aaron so he mutes me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. Now, here's something interesting. I did accidentally, but it's actually probably pretty normal. And instead of changing chords on beat 1, I changed on the and of 4, because we had just had a gap. So it's a kind of a way, sometimes, chords change like 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2. Okay? So sometimes chords change early. And so when I was playing the E, when I went to the and of 4, I changed the E sus accidentally. And that's a very common thing to do. Or I could not. Change on the beat. On the down beat. It's kind of one of those things where you want to make sure everybody's doing the same thing. Like the piano player, if they're going to E sus on the and of 4, then you might want to do that too. Otherwise, you're going to have some kind of like. That's an adult chord. Josh Flagg, you're still there. Try that chord. So that is an E4. Okay, I call that E4. So it's an E triad with a 4th added. It's not E sus 4, because E sus 4 would not have a G sharp in it. E4 has E, G sharp, B, but also has the A. And the way I'm playing that is 0, 7, 6, 2, 0, 0. I call that a supreme adult chord right there. But it's got this half step there between the G sharp and the A. And I think it's a really beautiful chord, but it doesn't really work if somebody's playing E and somebody else is playing E sus. It could be a thing. Could be an effecty kind of thing you might want to have. But what am I doing? Here we go. The only reason I say Josh, because he's got young hands. He's got young hands. You don't want to hurt yourself. And you'll notice, if I'm playing a difficult chord, my thumb is way back there. Okay? Obviously, when I'm playing G and C chords I've played a billion times, my thumb kind of tends to hang up here, because I'm hooking it on the neck so that my arm doesn't fall down, because I'm a lazy guitar player. See? That way my arm stays up here. Otherwise it just falls off. Okay? It's true of all guitar players. We're all lazy. So. It doesn't really matter what chords we're playing. If we're playing something that's real simple, we tend to bring our thumb around, and it's one of those scenarios when I'm teaching beginners. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. But when I play a chord that's difficult, say something like that, then my thumb is definitely going to be right back there so I can get the best leverage out of it. Josh, I'm sorry, Josh. Tell your dad I'm sorry for the hospital bill. Okay, so we can hand clap this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. We can also. That's mainly so you can kind of hear where the strings are, where you're going to come in contact with the strings. And again, the reason this is syncopated is because we have 2 upstrokes in a row. We have to make sure that we keep the arm going down. So it should be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's hard to say. Down, up. Right? Yeah, Gary, I don't. You know, it's true of any job. Your personal goal for any job you're doing is how can I make this the easiest job I can do? You know, to try to get as many shortcuts and learn as many. I mean, that's what, you know, I learned key commands and all that stuff. You know, it's just like, oh, that's easier. Oh, okay, cool. That just allowed me to get home 4 seconds earlier today. So. Yeah, totally. This is an impossible chord. It's not playable. Especially when you're not in tune. But again, I don't want you to hurt your hands. A for the same chord in A is a little bit easier. I'll show you that one. It's 1 fret easier. Get Lydian too. Exactly. Don't work hard, work smart. True. It's true. It's funny too because, you know, all the times it's actually counterproductive for me to do time-saving things because I get paid by the hour. So why wouldn't I just do everything the slow way? I don't know. I'm always trying to save my clients money by working fast, and I'm like, I've actually had clients say, no, round up. Don't do that. I'm like, okay, sorry. So you see chat about 40 seconds before I see video. Oh, weird. That is weird, Bruce. Yeah, that's weird. Normally it's the other way around, isn't it? So that A4, okay, so that's an A triad, A, C sharp, E with a D added. Okay, not A sus4, which would be A, D, E, no C sharp. Nothing on the bottom string, then it's open. Then same thing, 7, 6, but this time we're at 3, 0. So it's 1 fret less than the E4 one as far as that goes. But I really like the sound of it. No. As far as when I was doing that, I'm just going back and forth between E and E sus. I was saying though, if someone was playing E and you were playing E sus, it would create this sound. Because one of you would be playing an A and the other one of you would be playing a G sharp, and it would create this dissonance, which I think is a beautiful chord. I love 4 chords. That's this one up an octave basically, but yeah. So again, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna do this with the groove. We haven't done it with the groove yet. Let me get the chat up so I can keep tabs on what's going on there. 3, 4. Here's a snare hit in the gap there on beat 4. Listen to 1, 2, 3, 4. See the snare. 2, 3, 4. Snares with the left hand. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. General. If you're a right-handed drummer, You generally play snare with your left hand, right? Okay? So that 4 is going to be a gap. We're going to make a gap for beat 4. It'll sound like this. 2, 3, 4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to do this pattern here, then this one, then that one down there, and then this one down here. Okay, so 1 bar of this, 1 bar of that, 1 bar of that, 1 bar, almost like an exercise. So I'm going to be moving that gap from no gap to the gap. There's going to be a gap on 2, there's going to be a gap on 3, and there's going to be a gap on 4. We're going to try this. I've never done it, but we'll see. I'm going to just do an E chord the whole time. No, I'm going to change chords because I want to hear where 1 is. I'm accenting that upbeat right before the gap. Just naturally happens, and it's kind of a great way of kind of pointing it out. When I do that, we were doing on Monday, we were doing like this, the 16th note feel, one of my favorite feels, and I talk about it in my video, the hi-hat groove. Let me pull that up and send you a link to it so you can check it out. Got to get my YouTube count up more. People aren't, it's just the subscriber count's really slowed down. Bruce, I don't think I'm going to get 100,000 this year. It's not going to happen. The subscriber count's dropping so fast. It's not going down, but it's just not going up, 1,000, 2,000, or 1,500 a month like it was. So let's see, content, hi-hat. There we go. All right, so this is the hi-hat groove. And what I do with the hi-hat groove is basically I'm trying to do like a 16th note pattern where I open the hi-hat right before, so kind of like this. Let's see, I'm going to get rid of this. Or maybe just move it over here. You know what, I can leave that. So here's, okay. We were doing that groove the other day. I'm going to simplify the kick drum a little bit. All right. Get rid of that one. Wait, no, let's see. I'll maybe do that. That. Okay, now, let's do this. Let's go all of these. Okay. I don't know what the heck this is. Did I create this groove? I guess. Okay. Okay. So what's happening there is just boom, boom, boom. That's a kick. 1 and 1 and. Okay, the snare is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the hi-hat is doing 16th note. Now technically there shouldn't be a hi-hat on. So if I were to solo the hi-hat, there shouldn't be anything on the snare hits because you can't. Well, if you started, I guess you could hit a snare and a hi-hat at the same time on the 16th, but I'm going to delete that. So I'm going to delete every hi-hat. Oh, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put them back in, but instead I'm going to do it with a foot. So you can close the hi-hat with your foot because there's going to be a reason for that. Okay. And here's with the groove again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to open up the hi-hat, and right on the upstroke, right before the snare hit, I'm going to do that. Why is that one weird? That's so weird that one doesn't want to stay open. Huh. I'm going to delete that one and bring this one over. That doesn't make any sense. There we go. Hear that? Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Here's with the kick. The way I emulate that on guitar is to put an accent on that upstroke right before the downbeat. All right, let me get my windows here. Yes, Mamba, that's right. Yeah, you could, if you wanted to get rid of that note, if you mute that string, yeah. Yeah, that's also E4. I would call that E4. Okay. Anyway, so that's kind of cool, but that's not what this pattern is. But what I'm saying there, though, is that I tend to want to accent that upstroke right before the downstroke where we miss the strings. So it would be like... And I might want to accent downbeat. So one, the first beat. One. Yeah, I'm not going an hour and a half. Aaron's got a meeting with Fidelity. They're going to sign him up for... I can tell him how to invest. He doesn't need Fidelity. Gosh, just give me a call, Aaron. I'll tell you what you need to know. Oh, it's probably through his work, though. All right. So those are the three different grooves that I came up with that are syncopated, where we're just tying two eighth notes together so they equal a quarter note. And like I said, maybe on Friday I'll create a version of like the first one there, where you can see maybe three different ways that somebody might write that in music form. Like I said, normally if I were going to have a tie there, I wouldn't connect those two eighth notes together with the stem on the bottom. Normally I wouldn't do that, but Finale did it automatically, so I've got to figure out a way to get rid of that. There's a way to do it, but I can't remember. So, all right, Sam. Hopefully you'll feel good. You won't. I also wrote out the standard folk groove. So let me drop that in here. Let me get rid of this one here. Ooh, yes. Yes. I'm going to drag these up. Drag these up. All right. And then the last one I created this morning, well, waiting for the gardeners, was this one. And this is the standard folk groove. All right. And I should have put the and of one in parentheses, but I didn't. But there you can see, this one is, we've talked about this one many times before. I've done videos on this. I've got multiple videos on this, actually. If I go over to my YouTube channel and go back and enter standard. Tips for playing slide, standard tuning, what's so many, standard folk groove. Yeah, so here be that one. Copy. Hey, Holly. Did you, hey, what's her name? Look, everyone, what's her name's here? Shoot, I blew it. I shouldn't have said Holly right off the bat because I totally was like, dang it. You miss one episode and I forget your name. No, it's actually more of a 2 or 3 kind of thing. It's like, Bruce, what's his name? I was lost in Beat Saber on our new Oculus. Oh, fun. Yeah, we waited for you, John. Okay, let's start the lesson, everyone. Okay. So the groove here, oh, I did do that. Okay, I gave you the standard folk groove thing, right? All right. Yeah. So, this, I'm just going to play, this is the one we used a lot with it's a great groove. You can use it in lots of different styles, like the 50s. Oops. Now what I'm doing, to get that sound out of that groove is I'm hitting the bass note on 1, just the root of the chord, so just the G note, and then I'm rolling or raking like slowly. You might have to start a little before 2 to make it work. In fact, you might want to do it so that beat 2 is when you hit the top note. Okay? We could talk about that sometime. 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. And then you just finish out the strum the regular way. And that gives you kind of a 50s retro vibe. Another you use is straight, nice folk vibe. But if I did it fast, then it would be potentially a bluegrass vibe. Or I could do it with snare hits on 2 and 4. Okay, so there's a lot of different variations that you can do to this groove to kind of use it in different musical scenarios. Those are basically, I would say that the folk groove and that snare hit were pretty similar, but then the 50s thing is different, and then the fast thing, the bluegrass thing, is also different. So, oh, thanks, Dennis. I forgot to put the Discord link up there. Let me pin your link there. So, let's see. Disney movie after Wildflowers. Oh, Dream Butterflies. I think the rule of it should be if you do a staycation, you like no internet, no. That would be hard. Of course, you live in an area where you're kind of in the. Don't you abut the national forest or something like that? Or back up to? See, I already ran out of coffee, so I got the Diet Coke here. I should be sponsored by Coke. But in the standard folk groove, we're playing down, down, up, down, up. Now, this is one where you could, if you only strummed when you needed to, you would still end up with a downstroke on beat one because it's an even number of hits. We got 1, 2, and 4 and. That's 6 beats. So if I played it like Elvis would play it. You technically aren't going to get as likely to get as lost as you might be on some of these other strumming patterns where you've got an odd number, 7 hits per bar. However, it feels awkward, it sounds awkward, it looks awkward, it is awkward. So you want to keep your arm moving. That's the goal of these strumming grooves. Becker? Okay, so those are some grooves. Let me drag those into the Discord. In fact, I forgot to drag in one of the ones we did Monday too. So I'm going to try to drag those all into Discord. Let me pull it up. Also, I have a link for, let's see. If you're interested, here's the link for the Brazilian book on Amazon. This is a Kindle version. The other version, oh, here it is. Okay, never mind. Copy. Here's the regular version, the version I have. Okay, so we talked about that. We explored this book just briefly. It's pretty involved and a lot of grooves and everything. So it's actually really cool. We may touch on one. I may pick out one of the grooves in here we can play with. They're really kind of fun once you kind of get them down. But boy, it's a brain. You know, it's one of those, Gary, it's totally the thing where you got to feel it. You can't think it. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so let me pull up Discord. Here's Discord. Tom's Lesson PDFs. Okay, so I'm going to drag in, I think I didn't have that one. Yeah, I maybe didn't have this one. That one was kind of weird. I don't know that I'll drag that one. Yeah, I won't. I'll drag these. I'm going to drag these 5 in. So the 4 from today and then 1 from Monday. So they're all at Discord. Now, if you want to just grab those and put them on a piece of paper, you know, on a Word doc and then print them, you can. And that way you have them. All right. And then let's see. How you feeling, Sam? You got your your first vaccine today already, right? Probably have a little soreness in your arm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ask me about OBS. Go for it, Becker. Totally fine. I'm not an expert on it by any stretch, but I am digging it because I'm able to have all this stuff going on the screen. And it's been so long since I've connected it. What books? Oh, those books? No. This book is, I wouldn't call this a beginner book necessarily. I mean, it's, for one thing, there's no tab. So I would not say it's a beginner book. And so, yeah, the rhythm. Let's see. That's a basic pattern. So, okay. Connect OBS to Zoom, but the OBS output was blurry. So everything I shared was unreadable in Zoom. To Zoom. Connected OBS to Zoom. Okay. So it may be in the settings. There's output, the video bit rate. You may need to increase that. Okay, I have mine set at 2,500 kilobytes per second, which is a problem when my internet is slowing down. It can't keep up. But I think it looks fairly clean because this is getting recorded by YouTube, and I'm not exactly sure where they are. But it doesn't look awful. It doesn't look as good as, obviously, an uploaded video. But 25 kilobytes. Yeah, oh, okay, Jay. Hey, Jay, I figured. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm not using with Zoom at all. I'm using with YouTube. And you could do a private thing on OBS through YouTube. You could go private, I think, and use YouTube as kind of a Zoom. But the interaction's not as fast as Zoom. So, and with Zoom, you want to see the other person. Yeah, I'm not sure how that. Yeah, see, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, now that, because I'm connected, I can't see the other service. But they're probably, if it's a common problem. So my aspect ratio is 16:9. I'm using the resolution 1920 or 1080. The output, though, I changed to 720. By downscale filters by cubic. Not sure if that affects anything. The common FPS value is 60. Again, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with where you're doing. Let's see. Record format, MP4. Yeah, that's not going to be an issue. So yeah, I don't know. But that's my settings basically. Oh, okay. It's probably because of the return thing, maybe too. I don't know, because you're getting. My nose itches. You're getting video sent to you as well as sending, so it's kind of a two-way thing. I'm just sending. The only thing I'm getting back is you could try Google Meets. Maybe it works better with Google Meets, or they call it something else now, don't they? They changed it. But I see the chat, and that's the only thing I have coming back from you guys. So obviously, if you're doing a lesson, a one-on-one lesson, it's difficult to do if you can only see one side. So, Holly said something. She probably answered my question, and I totally missed it. Yeah. Oh, you're north of Yosemite. Oh, so you're further from me than Yosemite. Okay. Or Yosemite, as I called it for years. I didn't know until I was like, I saw Yosemite Sam or something, and they said, "Oh, it's Yosemite Sam." I went, "Oh, that's how you say that." When you moved to Los Angeles, there's a lot of streets that people like. So how do you say this name? Street, and you're like, Cahuinga. It's Cuenga. How about this one? It's like Lancashire or what is some of those? Sepulveda. Well, Sepulveda's not that bad. Lancashire. Coinga is one of the funny ones, though people always mess up. But Beth messed up, and somehow I knew it. I don't know how I knew it, but she said Camino Real, and it's like, no, it's Camino Real. So, yeah, you say, Yosemite now, who now, son? Yeah, yeah, I like Yosemite Sam. It's funny how many of those Looney Tunes were so gun centric, right? Now you watch them and you're like, oh yeah, I don't think they would ever make those cartoons today. You know, Bugs Bunny's always dodging bullets and buckshot and stuff like that. So, oh, Yosemite Sam. How was Yosemite Sam offensive? I don't remember. I don't remember that one. It's like, golly, people need to take a sedative. Holy cow. Pepe Le Pew. Are we really worried about French guys, or is it that he was a lech who failed? It actually was instructive because it showed you how that you should resist these leches. I mean, dang, Pepe Le Pew probably taught millions of little girls how to squirm away from an octopus. I mean, holy cow. Molecula. No, wait, see. Is that one by you? Well, yeah, that's a good one. Melalu, Melalucha. Melalucha. You're going to have to spell it out phonetically. Okay, see you later, Josh. Sorry, I missed saying goodbye. Cudahy, I think, even though there's no A at the end with a Y, I think it's Cudahy. Yeah, I need to get up to Yosemite though. It's never, I'd love to get a room at that famous hotel up there. A couple nights there would be great, but it's hard to get reservations and very expensive. And I don't know if it's worth it. And probably you're probably stuck eating at the restaurant too, and probably paying way too much money. I always say New York, and later I found out it was pronounced New York. Big epiphany. Let's see. I used to watch all the. Yeah, Pepe. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, come on, man. Epiphany. When I was a little kid, I used to say, instead of suitcase, I used to say soup case. That was in my baby book. My mom wrote it in. I was like, oh gosh, it was funny. It was like a little, like a page of words the kids would get wrong. My sister would say all by myself instead of all by myself, and instead of butterfly, she would say flutterbys, which both those make sense. All by myself and flutterbys both make sense, almost more so than the original, than the correct. Something about a small child's brain and the ability to cut through the bowl, Well, no, yeah, and I think that was the whole point of Pepe Le Pew was to point out that he was a lech. Nobody idolized Pepe Le Pew like you would with Bugs Bunny. The audience always sympathized with the cat, and I've been the cat with female bosses that I had, so I can relate to the cat. I lost jobs because I wouldn't acquiesce to the female Pepe Le Pew. I'll see you later, Mamba. Oh, Waukesha? And well, there's some crazy ones in England too, like the Irish things where you're saying letters that aren't even in the word. I mean, Straley's not very correct either, but um, Sud casse. Sud Suitcase, German for cheese. Oh, suitcase. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, well, sometimes it's fun when words. French is one of those languages that's pretty difficult. But you know more French words than you think you know, and you also know more pronunciations than you think you know. Like the word ballet. If you see ALLET, or the ET, you would know A. It wouldn't be et necessarily. Although, yeah, I don't know if that's always true. But like Chateaubriand. So, all right. Well, I'm going to take off. Yeah, you got me live because I was so late. But I'm gonna take off. I'll see you on Friday if I can, and then we will talk more about some more grooves. I'll try to come up with something to kind of hammer this home a little bit. Let me know how you're doing on that too, okay? If you're able to do the groove without stopping, that's the key. Just got to keep going. That's why it's great to play with a metronome at the very least, or with a drum machine. But a drum machine, I think, will help you keep track of where the beats are. So, all right. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.